Every house on our street had a warm glow at night, except one. That place never turned on its lights, ever. I'd watch it every night. Sometimes I thought I saw movement, but the curtains never moved. One night I got brave. I wanted to see it up close, just to prove there was nothing there. The door was open, neatly lined up on the porch, kids' shoes, all the same size. There was a kid inside, standing in the dark, facing the wall, not moving, not blinking. I ran home and never looked back, but now every night that house has one light on, in the window where he watches me sleep. The last train wasn't scheduled, but it arrived. No passengers, no conductor. I stepped inside. The doors closed. The lights died. When the lights returned, I wasn't alone. We never stopped. The windows showed things that don't belong underground. My phone rang. The name said, "You dead." I didn't answer. I bought a remote cabin to escape. No neighbors, no noise, just the lake and its perfect reflection. But this morning, I saw a second cabin in the reflection, right next to mine. There's nothing beside me. The second cabin isn't real, but someone was at its door, in the reflection. Tonight, there are two of me, and one of them just moved. I locked every door, but the reflection didn't. We found him half buried in the snow, frozen stiff, but his eyes were still blinking. Inside the station, he wouldn't speak, just mouthed numbers, again and again. That night, our satellite link died. The numbers matched our coordinates. I checked the cameras. He was in every room, at the same time. At dawn, the station was gone. Just endless white. No exits. No world. There's a reason no one swims in Halver Lake anymore. They say it remembers who drowned. I found an old photo in a cabin near the shore, but one of the faces had been violently removed. At night, the lake moves on its own, like it's breathing. I followed the sound of footsteps, but they led back out of the lake. And when I looked in the mirror, it wasn't me staring back. It started with a voice, a soft, desperate whisper echoing from the storm drain outside my house. "Please, help me." I thought it was a prank, but when I crouched down to look, I saw a girl, pale, soaked, eyes wide with fear. She begged me not to tell anyone. Each night she returned, same time, same words. But something was wrong. Her clothes never dried, and her skin never aged. I asked her name. She said nothing. Instead, she slowly lifted her hand, pointing past me, toward my house. That night, I woke to water pooling on my bedroom floor. Footprints, soaked and small, led from the door to my bed. I rushed to the drain the next morning. It was empty. No girl, no voice. But carved into the concrete were 5 words. "Now you live down here." Everyone at Westbrook High knew one thing. Room 13 didn't exist. But Ethan swore he saw it. Just once. A black door between 12 and 14 with no handle. That night he returned with his phone. The door was wide open. The TV began to play a grainy video of him sleeping. Behind him, desks scraped the floor, though no one had entered. Ethan ran, but when he looked back, room 13 was gone. The next morning, Ethan was absent, and no one at school remembered him. When the old Grandview Theater reopened, Ava was thrilled to join as the lead actress in their first play in 30 years. But every rehearsal ended the same way, with her script rewritten overnight. One night, she stayed late to catch the culprit. What she saw made her freeze. The phantom actor turned to her and whispered, "Your role was never yours." The next day, Ava's name was gone from the cast list. Someone else had taken her role, someone no one else could see. Opening night arrived, and the final scene ended with Ava's scream, but no one in the audience noticed.
Our school's basketball team had always been average, until we got the new mascot costume. No one knew who delivered it, but the moment we started using it, we never lost another game. We started hearing things in the locker room, whispers in the dark, growls behind closed doors. One night, a player stayed late to practice alone. He never came home. We burned the costume. We lost the next game, but at least no one else disappeared. I booked a cheap hotel room during a road trip, room 313. The clerk hesitated when handing over the key. The hallway smelled like mildew and something sour. My room was at the very end. Inside, it looked normal, except for the mirror. It didn't show my reflection. That night I heard a knock, but when I opened the door, the hallway was gone. I tried to leave, but the room kept changing. The window now looks into another room, where I'm sleeping. If you ever see room 313, don't open the door. And if you do, don't look in the mirror. The beach was empty when I arrived. Not even seagulls, just waves, and something bobbing far out. I swam toward it, thinking it was a lost buoy, but it moved when I did. I dove under to get closer. When I surfaced, it was gone. I shrugged it off and went home, but that night, I found sand all over my bedroom floor. Then I heard it, dripping footsteps down the hallway, and breathing, just outside my door. I locked the door. I never opened it again, but every morning, more sand. They warned us not to climb after dark, but the summit was so close, and we were so stupid. Halfway up, we saw the first set of prints. Not ours. Bare feet, too large to be human. Then we heard it. Heavy breathing behind the wind, and something howling, not quite animal. We ran, but with every step, I felt it getting closer, like it wasn't walking, it was gliding. I made it to the tent, zipped it shut, but the flap opened from the inside. They found me the next day, frostbitten, alone, but I swear, something else came down the mountain with me. They shut down the park years ago, after the accident, but sometimes, at night, the lights still come on. We snuck in for a thrill. It was all rust and silence, until the carousel started playing music, on its own. Then the Ferris wheel turned, slow, creaking, empty, except there were shadows in the seats. My friend laughed it off, until she saw the funhouse mirror, and her reflection didn't move. We ran, but the gates had vanished. The park wanted us to stay. They only found one of us, laughing, crying, clutching a carnival ticket that wasn't printed in years. We broke into the aquarium after dark, just a dumb dare, but the water inside the tanks, it wasn't still. One tank was labeled "Exhibit Removed," but inside, something was watching us. My friend tapped the glass. Something tapped back. 3 slow knocks. The lights flickered. The jellyfish tank was empty, except for one floating shape that blinked. We tried to leave, but every hallway circled back to the shark tunnel, and the tunnel was flooding. Only one emergency exit worked. It led into a maintenance room filled with empty tanks and wet footprints. They say the aquarium's been closed for years, but every full moon, the tide rises and the glass sweats. The counselors said not to go past the lake after dark. We thought it was just a ghost story, until we saw the second campfire. We crossed anyway, but when we got close, there were no logs, no ashes, just the fire and footprints all around it. Then we heard singing, a lullaby, from behind us. We ran back toward camp, but the trail didn't lead to our cabins. Only more woods, more fires. By morning, only our shoes were found, lined up neatly at the lake's edge.